Now that you've learned how to open an existing document, create a new one, toggle between worksheets, we're going to focus more on the actual worksheet itself and navigating, a little bit more in-depth navigation, in addition to editing contents within the cells and widening the cells. This first exercise, I'm going to use our Understanding Excel practice, since it's mostly filled in already, to show you some navigational tricks. Right now, I'm going to scroll up to the very top just so that we can see how these tricks work. So let me get to the top of my page. So the top of the page is the A1 coordinate. And what I'm going to do is on my keyboard, I'm going to press Control and End. And what that did was it took us to the very end of the document. So now we are technically row 105, and it moved our cursor to column H. So if you're wanting to go to the bottom of your document to find out a grand total really quickly, just the Control and End will work. If we want to go back to the top where we were, so we can see A1, you would press Control and Home on your keyboard. And now we are back to A1. This is considered the name box where you see A1, and so it will tell you which box you're in each time. And that's the name box. You can actually type in this box, which is kind of a neat shortcut, especially if you know I need to go to C50, let's just say. And we can't see C50 right now because it only goes down to 36 on our screen, and we just want to jump there really fast. I can type in C50, and now look, our cursor, we've got our cell that has got the green border around it in C50. So the name box will either tell you what cell you're in by clicking on it, or you can type in your name box the cell you would like to go to. If we press Control and the down arrow on your keyboard, it will take you to the last row of data. And this one, I'm going to scroll back up here because I don't know that this did it correctly. So Control and the down arrow. So yes. So it's the last row of data, but it's per the category that you're in. So right now we're in this category of tools. So it's going to take us to the last row of the data for the tools. Depending on how your worksheet is set up, it may take you to the last row for the entire worksheet, but this worksheet is broken up into many sections, and so it's bringing us to the last row before we get to a total section. If we press Control and right arrow, it should take us to the last column of data. In this case, that is column C. And I'll go ahead and press Control Home again. And again, it takes us to the very top. So we're going to go back to our document customer tracker. And I'm going to type in a few things here to get us started. I'm going to type in Workforce Centers in A1. And so what I want to point out here is that you'll see that in A1 we've typed, and you see Workforce Centers. You will also see that in the formula bar, and that's what we call this part up here, where it says Workforce Centers, the formula bar. Once we hit enter, you'll see that it went down a line, and there's nothing in the cell, nothing in the formula bar. If I click back to A1, it will show us in A1, it says Workforce Centers. If you just look at the cell of the spreadsheet, it actually looks like Workforce Centers crosses over into cell B1, but it actually does not. Okay? If I click in B1, and a lot of times in the classroom, I know this becomes tricky, that people will think that they can't type in B1 because something is there. When we click B1, there, even though we see centers here, in this formula bar, centers is not there. And that will show you that that is not actually has anything in that box. So this is where widening the columns really becomes handy, so that you can really see what you're working with, so that you're not seeing the overlap like this. So I want to show you how to edit the cell's contents. So if we wanted to take the centers off, we would need to click in cell A1, and you can even type here in the formula bar, and let's just change this to Alliance. And then if we hit enter, now it says Workforce Alliance. If we press tab, it moves us over to the next field, which will look like it has Alliance in there, and that we would have difficulty typing it. But now what I want you to do is in cell B1, we will go ahead and type here, let's say the address, 2021 North Amidon. And so now that I've typed in the address here in B1, you'll notice that now I don't see Workforce Alliance at all. We just see Workforce, and it's actually kind of cut off. But if we click in cell A1, it does show that it's still Workforce Alliance. Okay, so in cell A4, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to type in customer name. In B1, I'm going to write customer number. And actually, I'm going to do a pound sign, customer number. And then I'm going to put service requested in C4, okay, for our customer tracker. So right now we've got all of this here. You can't see it very well. So this is where widening the column will become in handy. And there's 3 ways you can widen the column. So I'm going to show you all 3. There's a really easy way, more simpler way, and a more challenging, or the way that I always forget you can even do. So like I said, there's usually more than one way to do something. So the first way that you can do widen the column is to move the mouse pointer between columns A and B, and you should get a double-headed arrow. Do you see the double-headed arrow? And double-click. And what that will do is it will widen the column to whatever the longest word is in that column. So it didn't adjust it to customer name, but rather to the Workforce Alliance, because that one is longer. So now if we were to widen column B, because we still need to widen it as well, What you can do is you can actually highlight the entire column B by clicking on it. You'll see the down arrow where the letter B is. And on the Home tab, so we're on the Home tab, in the Cells group, so this is our Cells group, we're going to click the Format drop-down, and we're going to click Auto Fit Column Width. And so once again, it also made it the full width of whatever the longest one is. Now the last one here. And this is going to be by putting the cursor between columns C and D. We've got the double-headed arrow, but you can also drag. So you click on your mouse and you drag it as long as you like it. Now, the thing about some of the auto-fit ones that's kind of nice is it makes it consistent. Where if we're dragging, you know, I mean, I could still do something like this and it doesn't look like it fits very well. So I usually recommend, my preference of choice is to get between the columns and just do the double click. And it's just that simple. Now you've widened the column for you to be able to see that. So in this section, we've learned some shortcuts to navigate the worksheet, like Control and End, for example, Control and Home. We learned about the name box. We've also shown how to edit the contents by clicking in the cell, and how to widen the columns.